All right, let's get right into it. We're about to unpack one of the wildest, most shocking stories to hit the music world in, well, years. It's got everything. A mystery band, absolutely insane success, and a secret that just blew the whole industry wide open. So, just try to picture this for a second. A brand new band just pops up out of nowhere. I mean, no history, no interviews, zero hype. And somehow, in a single day, they get 200 million streams. That's not just a good start, that's a straight-up explosion. It makes no sense. And just to give you some perspective on how huge that is, they didn't just have a good day. They completely shattered a record held by global superstars BTS. The entire music world was just spinning, asking one question: how in the world did that happen?
Okay, so this band, they were called the Velvet Sundown. And on July 15th, 2025, they just appeared. One minute they don't exist, the next their music is all over Spotify. And what happened next? Well, it was a rocket launch like nothing anyone had ever seen before.
I mean, the growth was insane. The numbers were climbing so fast that in just 2 days, they blew past 300 million plays. They even got that coveted verified artist checkmark on Spotify, the one that usually takes artists months or even years to get.
And here's the thing. The music was actually really good. Fans totally fell for this groovy 70s psychedelic rock vibe. It was smooth, perfectly produced, super catchy. But the bigger they got, the bigger the mystery got. Like, who were the 4 guys in the picture? And why had absolutely no one ever heard of them before?
So, as you'd expect, right as their popularity was exploding, so was the suspicion. It was all just a little too perfect, a little too clean. And the internet detectives, they did what they do best. They started digging. And oh boy, they found that something was really, really off.
And the red flags just started popping up everywhere. You can't ignore this stuff. In this day and age, a band doesn't just appear with zero history. There's no old concert posters, no embarrassing high school band footage on YouTube, nothing. Their social media, all created on the exact same day their music dropped. And those profile pics? Yeah, they had that weirdly smooth, kind of uncanny valley look that just screams AI.
Of course, the whole thing just blew up on places like Reddit. People started running the band's photos through AI detection tools. And the results? They were damning. We're talking a 98.7% probability that these faces were totally fake, generated by a machine. The evidence was piling up. This wasn't just a mystery band, it was an impossible band.
And then came the final nail in the coffin. And it came from a pretty unexpected place: the streaming service Deezer. Turns out they had just launched this new tool designed to sniff out music that was 100% made by AI. So, what do you think happened when they ran the Velvet Sundown songs through it? The verdict was crystal clear.
So with all this evidence piling up, what started as whispers online became a full-on roar. It was only a matter of time before the mainstream media caught on, and boom, a huge article from TechCrunch drops confirming what everyone was already thinking.
And there it was, the truth. The Velvet Sundown wasn't a real band, not even close. It was a 100% fabrication, an art hoax, they called it. It was all a big social experiment to see if an AI band could fool everyone and top the charts. And you know what? For a hot minute, it worked. Spectacularly.
So how'd they do it? The whole thing? The music, the lyrics, the art, the photos, it was all done with AI tools that pretty much anyone can use. We're talking Suno for the music, ChatGPT for the lyrics, Midjourney for the visuals. Reportedly, one anonymous developer put this whole thing together in 3 months for less than $100 a month. They literally created a chart-topping global hit from a laptop.
And the fan reaction? It was pure emotional whiplash. Imagine being one of those fans. One day you're talking about how deep and authentic this music is, how it's the work of a true artist. The next day you find out you've been duped. People felt cheated, they felt betrayed. All that love and admiration just curdled into anger. The hooks worked, yeah, but the fallout was absolutely brutal.
And the fall from grace was even faster than their climb to the top. As soon as the story broke, streaming platforms wiped them clean. The band that shattered records was just gone.
Scrubbed from the internet. Pages deleted, music silenced. Poof.
But this story is even more interesting when you realize it wasn't happening in a vacuum. To really get what's going on here, we have to look at another virtual band that was also blowing up the charts at the same time, but their story and their approach couldn't have been more different.
Okay, so meet the Saja Boys. They're a fictional K-pop group from a huge animated movie called K-pop Demon Hunters. And guess what? Their songs also became a massive global hit, climbing all the charts. But here's the key. Unlike the Velvet Sundown, their success is totally real and it's still going. So, what's the difference?
And this is where everything changes. It all comes down to one word: transparency. The Velvet Sundown was built on a lie. They pretended to be human. The Saja Boys? Everyone knew from day one they were fictional characters from a movie. And their music, while it used tech, it was a real collaboration between AI and actual humans. We're talking Grammy-winning producers and real-life K-pop idols. The fans were in on it. They were part of the fun, not the victims of a prank.
So this whole wild ride forces us to ask a really big question, right? It gets to the very core of what we actually want from art. Was the problem here the AI? Or was it the lie?
You know, it's interesting. Music critics were already picking up on this even before the whole hoax was confirmed. They'd say, yeah, the music is technically flawless. It sounds exactly like 70s folk rock. But as one critic put it, it captured the sound, but it completely missed the soul. It just felt empty.
And that's the real takeaway here. It turns out we don't really care about technical perfection. The Velvet Sundown had that in spades. What they were missing was that emotional connection, that authenticity, that feeling that there's a real human story with all its messiness and vulnerability behind the music. That's what people value, and that's what was missing.
And this really brings us to what experts are saying. AI itself isn't the bad guy here. It's just a tool, and the Saja Boys are the perfect example of that. Their success proves that when you use AI to collaborate with people, to expand human creativity, you can get something amazing. It's all about how you use the tool, not the tool itself.
So, when you boil it all down, the story of the Velvet Sundown isn't really a scary story about AI taking over. It's actually a very, very old story. It's about trust. It's about honesty between an artist and their fans. And that's true whether the artist is a real person, a virtual character, or anything in between. Which leaves us with one last big question to chew on. As AI gets better and better, when it can perfectly copy the sound of any hit song, what's left? What's the future of human creativity? Maybe the most valuable art won't be the perfect stuff. Maybe it'll be the stuff that's unapologetically, imperfectly, and completely irreplaceably human.